of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rest. Right now it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, and, of course, iHeartRadio. It is Monday, and on Monday we put a spotlight on all the wonderful things that cannabis can do to improve the state of mind, spirit, and body. And we bring on board as our joint host each week the founders of Patients at a Time. And this week we have with us Al Byrne. Al, good morning.
Good morning to you, Casper, and good afternoon to the folks on the East Coast and anywhere else that it might be afternoon. And yeah, today you just get Al Byrne. Mary Lynn is traveling today, but that's quite all right. We have an experienced guest here, and the subject matter is, I think, of interest. Today is a Veterans Day. It is Columbus Day that we're actually taping this show, but we are all veterans, Casper, myself, and my guest, Jack Stiegelman. Before I introduce Jack, who has been on the show before, let me just say that I'm here representing Patients Out of Time. That's a non-profit organization. It's been in existence and operating more than 20 years now in the United States only. Its mission continues to be, has been and continues to be, the education of healthcare professionals and the United States public about the therapeutic value of cannabis and about the endocannabinoid system and the necessary knowledge that we have to have about the interface between that system and the cannabis plant. You can find information about Patients Out of Time at medicalcannabis.com and patientsoutofTime.org. This organization has a continuing series of accredited conferences, meaning healthcare professionals that attend receive continuing medical education credits for their attendance. There is a fee, but it's very reasonable. And they learn about the endocannabinoid system and the therapeutic value of cannabis. It's the mission. Our next conference will be the 10th in the series. It will be held in early April, and it will be held in or around Baltimore, Maryland. And you will find information as it develops on that conference at medicalcannabis.com or patientsoutofTime.org. In the meantime, your healthcare professional, and I mean yours, because you should be talking to your doctor and your nurse and your pharmacist and your veterinarian about the medical value of cannabis for not only us, but our animals, the ones we love and the ones we eat. This education can be found online, sponsored by Patients At a Time and the University of California School of Medicine in San Francisco. The address on that one is themedicalcannabisinstitute.org. themedicalcannabisinstitute.org. Okay. That's all the required stuff that I got to do. Right now, what we want to do is introduce my guest, Jack Stiegelman, who habituates in Florida. Hi, Jack.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, and I know you are too, because we spoke just a little earlier. But Jack, we're going to talk about a couple of things. I'd like to. You can talk, of course, whatever subject comes up. We're in. I want to get a little bit out of you about what's going on with the veterans issue in Florida. Put in a plug maybe for Veterans United, and then we definitely want to talk about the veteran caravan, the cross-country caravan, the Cannonball Run that's going to happen here pretty quick. But with that, give the listeners just a brief background, Jack. Your military background, what are you doing now? Your veteran advocacy, et cetera.
Yes. Well, I joined the Army National Guard in 2001. Finished all my training in August of 2001 and was enrolled at UCF in their ROTC program after September 11th. And our unit was activated to do Operation Safe Skies in Florida, and then we were sent to Afghanistan in 2004. I was injured on a mountaintop OP patrol and was given Vicodin and Valium in country to help make it through until it was time for our unit to come back. And at that time, I entered the VA system and was up to about 180 milligrams of morphine a day, 700 milligrams of soma, 2 or 3 different antipsychotics, anti-anxieties, clonazepam, lorazepam. Ended up having a seizure on Wellbutrin. And that's kind of when I was reintroduced by another veteran to cannabis as a medicine. I had tried it recreationally in college, nothing, just dabbled, but was introduced by another veteran on the medical side of it. And when I brought that to the VA withdrew me from all of their pain management programs and ended up taking me off of all of the benzos. So went through extreme withdrawals. That was right around the time when the pill mills were going on in Florida, and ended up having a really rough time, ended up going on the street for my medication. And with the help of some veterans and seeing that my story didn't differ that much from other veteran stories that had been through the same thing, I was able to pull myself out with my family and the support of the veterans in the cannabis industry, and really saw the light there and realized that that's what I needed to do. And since then, I've been helping wherever I can to help raise awareness of the 22 a day that are committing suicide, that we're losing our brothers and sisters every day. So I started with Dr. Sisley, and she introduced me to veterans that were doing the same thing all across the country, kind of how I got hooked up with Weed for Warriors and Bob Jordan and Veterans United in Florida. Veterans United, it was founded by Bob Jordan. He's doing great things with Kathy Jordan. She's an ALS patient, cannabis patient here in Florida. Bob's a Vietnam veteran. And Bob's taken the ball and run with this Veterans United. It's not only just about cannabis, but it's also helping veterans with service animals, trying to get veterans on the right track when they come home, and kind of have a clearinghouse, if you will, for veterans to whatever their veterans need. We're trying to hook up with local advocacy groups that are doing different things, and really it's really segmented in Florida. And what Bob's trying to do is bring all the veterans under one umbrella, and that way we can send veterans to get what the treatment they need, the supplies they need, the resources they need close to home, and not have one large organization kind of helping out where they can, not to take over, but to, again, lend a helping hand to the veterans so they know where they can go in their own hometown.
Well, yeah, of course, I agree with you and Bob, because I'm a member of Veterans United, as is Mary Lynn, and I think Bob's, absolutely onto it. I mean, Bob and I have been friends for, 20 years. Kathy I've known longer, actually. But, and that's something. I mean, I just want to say again, you brought it up, but let's emphasize it, Jack. Bob's the husband of Kathy Jordan, who for some 26 years has been diagnosed with ALS. Now, that's Lou Gehrig's disease. I don't know if you all understand, but you get a diagnosis with ALS, you probably have 3 years or less to live, certainly 5, with everything that modern medicine can throw at you. Kathy, let me repeat again, has had ALS for over 25 years. And actually, in the time I've known her, which is pretty much all that time, I've actually seen her improve in a lot of ways. And her secret is no secret. She tells everybody that will listen, I use cannabis every day, a certain strain of cannabis, but it works for her, and it's remarkable. And Bob has become a leader of veterans, not just in Florida, but in other places. And full disclosure, Bob Jordan and Jack and a couple of other vets were on the faculty of the last conference that I talked about in the series that we do. The last one was this past May, and it was in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I had something to do with the planning committee, and I made sure that we had a representation of veterans on the panels to make sure that this veteran issue was understood by the healthcare professionals. And we pass out evaluations we're required to by the medical school that helps us out with this. And I just want to tell you, Jack, that your presentation and that of the other guys on the panel got the highest grades. It was just overwhelmingly well received. And let me tell you, these guys did a great job explaining. We had all kinds of guys there. Jack from Afghanistan, Bob was from Nam. All kinds of different stories there, but it got through to the population in the room, and it will get through to the people that see the videos that were made of those presentations. That what Jack and I and Casper are presenting here to you today is not some fictional. We just think this is a good idea. It's better than a good idea. It's based on science, and it's based on the reality that our brothers and sisters and us live every day. And we're not lying to you. We're on the radio, and we're saying this is our story, and it, not just we believe it, we know it's to be true. And the people that you want to stop listening to are the people that are lying to you, who aren't us. I'm sorry, Jack, but I just thought I'd bring that up. But this Veterans United thing is a good idea, and as Jack says, it's to be an umbrella organization. Bob has no intention of encroaching on anybody's turf or anything like that, but he wants us all as veterans to cooperate with each other, understand what we're all doing, and help each other out when that's possible. And I think that Jack and I agree, this is the way to go. So then let's shift a little bit to Florida in general, Jack. What's going on down there with the medical cannabis law? It seems to me from the outside there's some improvement, that they're willing to talk more now, this legislator.
Yeah, we've got some counties that are actually starting to decriminalize. I believe we're up to 3 or 4 counties that have decriminalized now. So they're starting to listen. They're starting to see what's going on. The new medical marijuana ballot that's going out, it has increased the amount of conditions, addressed a lot of the issues that they were attacking with the different ads in Florida. About the doctors, it specifies, every point that was attacked. And I think it was a good learning experience for United for Care to kind of get beat up, if you will, in the media because of all the media dollars that came from out of state and were able to essentially brainwash the citizens into thinking that the bill was something that it's not. And I think they've gone out of their way to address those issues. They did add PTSD, which was one of my major issues with the ballot the first go round. That I don't have to say that my condition is pain or not be truthful about what I'm trying to help with the cannabis. So. And they've got a couple other ballots going on. I believe Bob Jordan's a major player in another one of the ballots that's going on in Florida. But they're starting to listen. So it's gotten, if nothing else, the amount of ballots that are going on in Florida now, it's starting to open the eyes of the politicians to see that they may want to push forward with something. So who knows? We've got another year and a half till we'll know anything. So it's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, who knows? One of these politicians may all of a sudden decide it was his or her idea. Huh? How they are. The question I have, and you may not know the answer, but this list that United for Care has come up with gratefully includes post-traumatic stress. Who made the list up?
I don't know.
Yeah. United for Care is that not Mr. Morgan's, is that his bill?
It is, yes. I believe Irv Rosenfeld had some, he had some insight on it. I believe he was on the panel the first time. I'm not sure about this go round. Right.
Well, I know that Mr. Morgan has had quite a few conversations with both Kathy and Bob Jordan, and I'm sure that knowing Bob, that would not only include ALS, but would include post-traumatic stress and other issues. So Might be that. I was just curious. We may never know, but it's always a wonder to me how these lists are made. I brought this up a lot of times, but it seems like these lists are generally made up by people with no medical, nursing, pharmaceutical training at all. They seem to be by law enforcement and attorneys, which is perplexing to me. But we're going to have to take a break here in about 2 minutes, Jack. Is there? Can you put out some information how to get a hold of Veterans for United Care or any other URL you want to put out there?
Oh, absolutely. We've got a Facebook page. You can look us up at Veterans United on Facebook. Also at Veterans United on Twitter. Those are going to be the two best ways to reach us. You can send a direct message through there, and that goes to Bob and myself. So we've always got somebody monitoring the Facebook page. We post updates about what veterans are doing in Florida and what veterans are doing in the different states. So real informative page, keeps everybody kind of up to date on what Bob's doing and the different organizations he's helping out with.
Yeah, and again, well, it's not the subject matter of the day really, but if you have a patient in your life that has ALS, please let us know. Get a hold of us, Bob, Kathy. We're easy to find on all of the places above. And you can find out some really valuable information from them on the treatment of this disease, which is, again, a treatment using an herb. It's a plant. I remind people all the time, cannabis, marijuana is not a drug. It's a plant. It grows in the ground. If you drive by it or walk by it, it will not chase you. It will not bite you. It's a plant. I just don't understand the fear of this whole issue. But if you have ALS, you want to get a hold of the Jordans down here in Florida, you can look up Kathy on Facebook, Bob on Facebook. You can reach them through Veterans United. And right now, I want to remind you that this is at the graciousness of Casper. This is a show for patients at a time and the information that they possess. Most of it you can find at www.medicalcannabis.com, patientsoutofTime.org. But right now, we're all going to go somewhere for a couple of minutes, and we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll talk with Jack again, and we're going to talk about something called the Cannaball Run. The Cannaball, C-A-N-N-A, ball run. See you then.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
That was Soul Shaker with the song called Weed in My Soul. And you are listening to Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, timeforhemp.com. And we've got a Roku TV channel up now, so you can go to the timeforhemp.com website and find out the code to type into your Roku box so you can enjoy the commercial-free Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Television Network on Roku. And like a good joint, we are always best when shared with friends. With that said, I'm passing this joint conversation back to our joint host here on the joint broadcast on Time for Hemp. Al?
And I wish that we could jointly thank you, but Maryland's not here today, so you just get Al Byrne with his guest, Jack Stiegelman, and of course, we have Casper in the background lurking, just in case. We're going to shift. We're going to shift gears a little bit with Jack. We've been talking about Florida and the adventures down there, which are always ongoing. But now we're going to talk about a veteran project that is national in scope, and will begin next week. By the time that you guys hear my voice. And it will start in Los Angeles and essentially go cross country to Washington, D.C. And Jack and I will get into the details. But just to give a plug to the main sponsor, who is the owner of Magical Butter. By the way, go to that website, magicalbutter.com. The owner of that, of the Magical Butter machine, Garen Angel, is the principal sponsor of the Cannonball Run. Now, you've heard of the Cannonball Run. That was made famous with Burt Reynolds and company. But this is Cannonball, Cannaball Run. And the Cannonball Run is a cross-country excursion by veterans in cooperation and in caravan with the Magical Butter folks. And we're going to go across country to make a demand, to first educate on the way, and once in Washington, to make a demand to the United States government that as veterans, we want the option to use cannabis as a medicine and still be treated as veterans. So that's what Jack and I are going to talk about. Jack, why don't you give us an overview as you see it? I talked to Garen this morning, and he says there's upwards of 7 vehicles in the caravan, and I'm not sure that involves camera crews, and I think there's a few of them. Tell us about it.
Well, what it is we're going to be going from L.A. Starting October 17th. And we're going to end on Veterans Day on November 11th in Washington, D.C. We're going to hit from L.A. We're going to stop in Denver on October 24th, Phoenix the 26th, Nashville the 30th, Atlanta on November 5th, Charlottesville November 6th and 7th, Philadelphia November 8th and 9th, and Washington, D.C. again in November 11th. What we're doing is we're going to have some guest speakers, and we're going to be doing some, like you said, some teaching events, just letting veterans know what's going on in each of their states, how they can help. We're going to have some organizations that are local to each stop that veterans can join us and join their local organizations in helping out across the country to help raise awareness. Al, being a veteran, veterans aren't afraid to take point on these issues, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Is we've seen that other groups are being paid attention to as far as their needs, and we think that veterans can lend a hand to help get that word out with other patients, because being a veteran, we've got the ear of the politicians. We've demanded that respect by the service that we've done for our country, and we're able to help these other groups, and by taking point, we get our foot in the door, so to speak. So this is kind of what we're attempting to do, is to go across country and show other vets how they can take point in this movement and help, their communities. They've helped their country already, and now they can be local and help their communities as they go along to raise awareness. So we're going to have veterans speaking on what they've done. A little bit about Weed for Warriors. It was started by Kevin Richardson out in California in 2014, and I joined in with the Florida started the Florida chapter the beginning of this year when I met a lot of the other veterans at one of the conferences, again at the Patients at a Time conference in West Palm. So that's kind of how this project started. One of the great things, the reason I started the Florida chapter is just being a part of the different organizations. I saw there was a veteran in need in Tampa, and within 3 or 4 hours, we were able to get another veteran with boots on ground in Tampa to just be a lending, to be a shoulder for this guy to help him out. And we were able to resolve the issue that was going on without any law enforcement, without getting anybody in any trouble, without getting anybody on the record, because the veteran just needed another veteran to express himself. And when I saw that happen in a matter of hours from all the way across the country, that was one of the reasons that I knew I needed to be a part of this. And what they're going to be doing is they've got a couple 5K runs going on along the stops. It starts with a 4.2 mile march in Santa Monica to the pier. That's how they're kicking it off in California on the 17th. They're going to have a veterans reception right after that, just to, again, with some speakers, just to get everything going on. The next stop in Colorado, they're going to have an infused cook-off. One of the chefs from Weed for Warriors and one of the chefs from Magical Butter, they're going to do an infused cook-off for everybody to share in that event there. Again, each one of these events is going to have different speakers, different veteran speakers, and they're all advocates. All these veteran speakers are going to be advocates from across the country, from each state, representing their own state to help out, and again, just to get the word out. So from Denver, we're going to hit Arizona. We're going to be joining the Southwest Cannabis Conference and Expo there on the 26th. They've got some great speakers there. I'm kind of partial to the event because Ricky Williams from the Miami Dolphins is going to be one of the speakers there. I'm pretty excited about. Again, Magical Butter is going to be doing the same thing, holding a live cook demonstration. There's going to be a film crew going on the entire time. I believe Magical Butter's got a skydiving team. They're going to be introducing at a lot of these events. So again, just a few different things per day. Trying to keep it interesting for the vets. We don't want to just have the same class type environment where the Magical Butters along the tours to help mix in the fun. So I think that's going to bring a great, bring a lot of people to these events that wouldn't normally make it out there. So I believe the next stop.
Yeah, I agree. Wait a minute, let me just agree with you. You're moving quickly, but this Magical Butter owner, Garen Angel, he just loves to have fun, this guy. I watched him very closely and his crew in Florida for 3 or 4 days because he and they were very helpful in helping out with the Patients at a Time conference and beyond. And they just do this to have fun, but he brings that atmosphere. But let me also explain that he and I and Jack and the others involved are deadly serious about this mission. Jack is talking about how we're going to bring people together, but listen to what he's saying. He says it over and over again. We're going to bring experts. That's part of my job, to make sure that at these stops that there are people that work with Patients at a Time and Veterans for Compassionate Care and other such medically orientated cannabis institutions to be there to support the veterans. So when the vet says, I use cannabis and it helps my fan pain, I use cannabis and it helps with my real pain, whatever the story is, there's a medical doctor, researcher going to be standing there saying, and this is based on worldwide science and worldwide research. And yes, we should have more of it, but we have enough. And the idea, as Jack says, is to educate. Again, Patients at a Time's mission is for 20 years been education. We educate the American public. Well, certainly the vets are part of that public and should be considered leaders in that public. And at least in voice, verbal communications, you'd think we did okay, but we're not doing okay, and we're not being listened to. And that's the whole issue here. And thank you very much, Mr. Ricky Williams, for helping us out. That's really gracious of you. And Greta Gaines is going to help us out in Nashville. She's on our board of advisors. And these kinds of people are standing up to help vets, and that's what we want all you guys to do. But we want you to do it we're going to educate you, vets and humans, hopefully through the media of Denver and Phoenix and Nashville, et cetera, hopefully through your media, to understand that this is a given to us, that this helps us. It keeps us alive. It'll knock that suicide rate to hell. And this is what this is all about. We can't wait any longer. Patients at a time, veterans, nobody can wait any longer. I'm sorry to interrupt, Jack, but I just want to emphasize again, this is not something about civil disobedience, folks. This is about education and a demand. I'm using the word demand. I don't know what the leadership is going to really say in Washington, but I'm going to use the word demand. This is a demand that we be given medical treatment based upon our needs, not upon our geographical location, which is the way it is now, which is illegal, immoral, and totally medically unethical. And it's the policy of the United States of America, and it sucks. Where are we going next, Jack?
Well, I just want to say something as well. What I think one of the biggest things that veterans need to pull from each one of these stops, and the reason that I appreciate what Patients at a Time has done, because as veteran advocates, we're asked to do a lot of these conferences, and I think one of the best things about the Patients at a Time conferences that I picked up was what it does is it gives veterans an idea of what to say to their healthcare providers, what to say to the VA, because we understand that anecdotally it works for us. We get that, but the veterans may not be able to put a medical voice to that. And I think that's one of what these conferences and what these tours and these stops and speaking about what the veterans are going to help to do is it's going to help the veterans pull us out of the dark age. It's gonna, because that's I can't tell you how many times I've gone and talked to my VA doctors and they brought up reefer madness stuff, asking me if I had bouts of violence and terrors against my family. So it was that's one of the great things about these stops that I think veterans need to pull from is being able to speak to their family, to the people that they know and trust, that they have to confide in, and they may not be able to do that because they don't have the right words. And I think that this helps the veteran grab those words that they need. So, but sorry, I didn't mean to go off. But
yeah, that's fine. I agree with you. That's what when Mike Kravitz and I formed the Veterans for Medical Cannabis Access. After it was initiated by another friend of ours, what we found when we went to the VA was just what you're indicating, that medical doctors and nurses didn't have a clue about this, and there's no reason they should have, really, because it's not been taught to them in medical school since, I don't know, 80 years, so why would they know? And if they don't know, they're going to be wary, afraid, if you will, but certainly wary of entering into any kind of physiological involvement with this herb if they don't know what it's going to do, and so that they rely on, I forget, maybe you can recall from the conference what Brian called there's some sort about a disorder in itself, the madness or something, a cannabis madness disorder or something, whatever he called it. And what he's referring to is where you got the reaction you got, where the guy thinks that because you smoke cannabis or use cannabis medically, you're going to kill everybody in the room with an axe or something. I mean, gosh. I don't know. I don't know how people believe that stuff, but I mean, I guess they believe in vampires too. So who knows? But anyway, let's go back to the tour. We were heading out of Arizona, and thank you, Mr. Williams. What's next?
Okay, we're going to be hitting Nashville. Like you said, we're going to have the reception with Greta Gaines. We're also going to be joining the Tennessee Normals chapter meeting.
Excuse me, Jack, I'm sorry. Casper says to me, why don't we hold the trip to Nashville until after the next break? So we'll start again in Nashville on our way to D.C. when we come back. Just come back in a couple of minutes, folks.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
Serious Seeds is your source for quality cannabis and sativa seeds. Serious Seeds are the creators of legendary strains like AK-47, Bubblegum, Chronic, Cali Mist, and White Russian. The AK-47 is probably the most awarded strain on the planet. The high THC content of AK-47 makes it the perfect medical strain for patients seeking quick pain relief. Cali Mist is an almost pure sativa. Female medical cannabis patients have reported that this strain helps relieve menstrual cramps. Serious Seeds just acquired another Dutch high-quality seed bank, Magus Genetics. From now on, Serious Seeds can offer you even more award-winning strains. The fine folks at Serious Seeds strive to breed the best cannabis genetics that they can find, so patients can rely on the effectiveness of their medicine. Go to SeriousSeeds.com to grow your medicine. That site again is SeriousSeeds.com.
Yes, it does grow from the earth, and no, it cannot hurt, which is why I have no comprehension as to why we have so many laws outlawing this plant. I've said it before, it's not like it's poison ivy where you walk into it and get all itchy, or it's not like Queen Anne's lace. If you happen to bite into it and chew on too much of it, it'll make you deathly ill. No, it's a plant that is a need for our body, and that when you use it, you feel better and you get healthier. And I just don't understand it. But with that said, I'm going to pass this joint conversation back to my joint host, and maybe as we listen in, we can get a better concept as to the remarkable aspects of this wonderful plant. Al?
Thanks, Casper. Well, since you brought up nutrition and eating, I'd just like to point out again that eating the cannabis plant, the raw leaves, is incredibly nutritious. It is very, very therapeutic for your endocannabinoid system, and it has zilch psychological effect. Nothing. The only thing that brings the pleasurable sensation out of the cannabis plant that so many refer to as a high, which I like to think of as a moment of joy or a period of joy. Again, the high, I guess, Jack, brings up to me the reefer madness thing. He's high, he's crazy. I prefer to think of, and I will continue to think of, when I use cannabis, not only does it help me with my pain control, but it brings me a feeling of relaxation, a feeling of joy. So with that said, that is the way I think most of our veterans would react to the use of cannabis, and that's why we're going to spread the issue as wide as we can across the country. And as I said, what we really need to be talking about is the rest of the tour, so everybody can get that down, and that would be Nashville, Tennessee. So we're pulling into Nashville, And I know that Greta Gaines, again, if you listen to our other show, Patients at a Time show on this same network, which I believe is high noon on Wednesdays, you'll hear Greta sing the Patients at a Time theme song, which is Heal Me, donated by her to the organization and sung by her. So Greta's going to also join in with the vets when we get into Nashville. I know that much. What else should I know, Jack?
Well, once we get to Nashville October 30th, we're going to be doing the gathering with Greta, and we've also got a live screening of a film, Stray Dog, and that's going to be on the 31st, and then on the 1st we are going to be joining Tennessee Normal's meeting. So this is going to be one of my favorite stops. Just, joining Tennessee Normal. I think that's going to be getting a lot of new advocates on the veterans end, really connected with the grassroots movement in Tennessee. I think that's going to be one of the huge points is that we'd be joining forces with the Tennessee Normal and having veterans be able to reach out and get questions from guys that are boots on ground. Because, it may be harder for the veterans advocates that are going to be speak, specifically in each state. And again, that's why it's great that we've got a lot of people coming out to these events that are already involved in the grassroots movement. So from Nashville,
excuse me again, Jack, but both Mary Lynn and I will be in Nashville the whole 3 days that the caravan is in there, and we'll be addressing or available to address anybody that in that time frame. I've also, I think I mentioned on an email to the group that I have made contact with a Vietnam vet who is the principal of that organization in the state of Tennessee. We've talked and we've sent emails back and forth, and he's very interested in not only supporting what we're doing in Nashville, but also to hearing what we have to say, which is that's the attitude that I want to convey here as we talk. That please, if you're a veteran and you're listening to this show, or you know a veteran, or you love a veteran, or you got a veteran that's a neighbor, let them know this is going on. Let them know that there's a whole group of vets going across the country supported by very, very smart people that are saying that this is good medicine for what we say it's good for, and we ought to have it now, just like our brothers and sisters who live in legal states, as opposed to Jack and I who live in Florida. Some sort of, they're more worried in Florida right now about the bears down there than they are us. The respect for veterans in Florida is terrible, is awful. Anyway, we'll get off of Florida again. But so their experts are going to be all over Nashville. I will remind the Normal people from the Tennessee Normal that Paul Kuhn, who was once chairman of the board of Normal, has been buddies with Mary Lynn and I on a personal level and on a professional level for some 30 years. So we're very well acquainted with the struggle in Tennessee. We've worked for years with one of your senators who has now moved on to the federal level and is very supportive of cannabis down there. And we'll do everything we can when we get there to speak to anybody you want us to educate them. And this includes the vets like Jack who are going to be along, and the doctors and nurses, I say, that will be there too. And we'll have some fun. Garen will make sure, Magical Butter will make sure we have fun. It can get too serious, and because we're talking a very serious issue here. And it's good that Magical Butter is there to make us all understand too that it's a trial, but we gotta smile every once in a while to get to that end goal, and we're going to get there. So we're out of Nashville and we're headed to Atlanta, isn't it?
Yeah, we're heading to Atlanta. We'll be there November 5th. All this information you can find on the website WFW Project, weedforwarriorsproject.org. And it'll link you to not only just each one of the stops, what we're going to be doing, the dates. It's all going to have all of our sponsors there. It's going to have a special link at the end of the trip. I'll explain a little bit more as we hit into Washington. The veterans are gonna kind of break away once we hit Washington to do some fun stuff on our own too. But like I said, we'll have a link for that. What we're hoping to do, we're gonna have on the website each veteran's profile, and we're gonna try to get a link to each veteran's Twitter account or Facebook account. So what we want to do is almost introduce the Weed for Warrior team as we go along to each one of the states, and allow individuals that might not be on the tour, veterans that can't make all the stops. We're going to be having all of the events we're going to be doing. They're all going to be streamed live from the site, so you can follow the tour along with us live. We're going to be on the YouTube channel. We're going to have all the live events will be posted right to the YouTube channel as well, so you could follow up on that. And that way you can really, almost pick your own veteran and let them tell their story of the tour, and almost get an intimate feeling of what each veteran, each different, Magical Butter sponsor is going to bring. And so that way, again, so you don't feel, everybody doesn't feel left out if they can't make each stop of the tour. So, and they'll be able to get all the information as well from each stop. So,
right. And the other thing we should out, a way not to get left out is to chip in. I mean, just $10, $20, something like that. And you say, well, what's $10 going to do for you guys? All that money going across the country. Well, $10 times a couple of thousand of you or something would get us there. And while we appreciate what Magical Butter is doing, there's expenses. Everybody's got to eat. There's gasoline. There's breakdowns. There's motels. There's expenses. So you can help us out by going to the address that we've just given and chip in, do something, help your vets, how much you pay for the yellow ribbon on the back of your SUV, chip in that much. And then when these guys go and they get the address, the next thing they're going to find is we're out of Atlanta and we're on to Charlottesville, Virginia, which is sort of a stop that was added at the last moment, if you will, about a week ago, if you've not heard that before. And there's a few reasons for this. Patients at a Time is home ported to there. We've got a filming of a film called The Scientist. If you've not heard of that, look it up. It's on YouTube video, The Scientist. It's a documentary that portrays the life and work of Dr. Raphael Meshulam of Israel, who I called a long time ago when it stuck, the grandfather of the medical cannabis world. And this scientist is being shown at the Virginia Film Festival, which is a very, very famous and well-attended film festival in Charlottesville, Virginia, right around the grounds of the University of Virginia. And in addition to the scientists being shown and the Cannonball Run coming into town, we're also having a special filming of Born on the 4th of July, which for Vietnam vets is a very significant movie. And Oliver Stone, the director-producer, is going to be on hand to talk to the veterans and about the Born on the 4th of July. And Mr. Stone, as a Vietnam veteran like myself, we swore. I know we did. I heard Secretary of State John Kerry say this, that he swore, I have sworn, Stone swore, that we would never let these guys like Jack from Afghanistan and Iraq and the Middle East, other places over there, be put through what we were put through, still being put through. And yet it does go on. And so we swore, see, so we're not going to stop. We're going to make you understand through education and because of our commitment to each other that this is the right thing to do, whether you think so or not. And Charlottesville will help that. And so there'd be a nice conflicts there, Jack. We got the vets and Born on the 4th of July and Dr. Meshulam's film and the producer from Israel, that Meshulam will be there. So it should be great. And then it's off to Philadelphia, I guess. Yep,
Philadelphia. We're going to have the Philadelphia Veterans Parade. That's going on Monday the 9th. What we're going to be doing, we're going to have some stuff set up at the end of the parade. We're going to be doing a reception on the 10th to celebrate the birth of the U.S. Marine Corps. We're going to have some guests there, some family members, and we're going to also have the press there. So we're going to work. We're trying to do, like I said, we're trying to do some 5Ks along this run as well. And tickets, you can get the 5K tickets from the website as well. And what we're looking at, I believe there's going to be a Boots and Boxers 5K in Philadelphia on the 8th. So then...
And then we got 2 minutes. We only got about a minute really now, Jack. So we're gonna please tell them about DC, and then we're gonna have to say adios.
Well, we're gonna do the march on the White House and the VA. We're gonna have a couple groups going in different directions. We're gonna have some different walking routes, and ultimately we're gonna end the tour demanding Washington listen to us. And we're going to have, again, demonstrations going on with the different speakers and the different veterans. And what we're going to do, we're going to have a secret link on the website once the day before Veterans Day. We're going to have a link on the site to a little bit of veterans civil disobedience, what we're going to be doing. And again, this is outside of the tour. This is going to be something we're going to do after the tour and representing our brothers and sisters.
Jax, thank you so much for coming on and explaining all this to us. We'll have you again. I'm going to talk to you when it's all over. But I expect to see you at the very latest in Nashville anyway.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for listening today. Thank you, Jack. I want to remind you all, medicalcannabis.com, patientsoutaftime.org. See you back here on Time for Hemp at the same time, same place next week. For now, take care. This is Al Byrne.
And don't forget, we are not the only 1 hour broadcast on the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. We have about 20 hosts that are producing original broadcasts about the need to end prohibition. And like a good joint, we are always best when shared with friends.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look and spend some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yes.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us